I wanted to make this quick recording to show you a couple examples from your homework, exercise 8C tonight. So I've given you number 1 and number 3 here for exercise 8C. Okay, and I want to kind of show you how these new endings that we have for verbs have changed the way that we kind of have to look at translating Latin sentences. And I showed you a little bit of this in class. Let's take a look at number 1. Okay, so normally what we've done in the past is begin by kind of just trying to look in our sentence for a subject, right? Something that has a nominative ending on it, whether it be singular, plural, whatever. Well, we're going to kind of change that with our new endings, because now we don't necessarily have to have a nominative or noun in a sentence to be our subject. We can simply look to the end of the verb to kind of get an idea on what our subject is. So let's take a look at number 1. In number 1, I see a bunch of words I know. Like I know cur means why, and a is out of, and willa is house, and all that. But let's take a look a little bit closer. I want to first find my verb. That's going to be something that I want to start kind of training myself to do. So when I go and look for my verb, the first thing I see that ambulo means to walk, ambulatis. And what I want to know is that means to walk. And I want to look at the end of it and I see tis. Now tis on the end of my sheet, on the end of my endings is ost must tis unt. That's for the ending for you, right? You plural or y'all. That's important because in English I start my sentence off with my subject and verb, where in Latin I end it with that. So when I bring this into English, I'm actually going to have to bring this ambulatis to the front of the sentence. So I'm going to start off with cur, why, right? Ambulatis. Now this is a question. So normally ambulatis would mean you walk or y'all walk, right? But I have to make it a question, so I'll say do. Why do you walk? Now I can go about my sentence as usual, but it was really important for me to, seeing as how I need to start my sentence with a subject verb, to go to my verb first. So why do you walk? A willa. Well, A is the same thing as X, right? So out of the house, in Silwam, into, right, the woods, often. And then I have this word puelli. Now obviously they're not the subject of the sentence because the only thing that could be the subject of the sentence is y'all. So if I had a wos in my sentence, it could be. But puelli couldn't be the subject, so I'm probably talking to them. Girls. Why do you walk out of the house? Often girls. And a lot of these sentences are really stupid, but, you know, they're from the book, so we just deal with them. All right, let's look at number 3. And we'll look at this next sentence here. Now, one thing that I forgot to kind of teach you, unfortunately, in class, and I'll teach you tomorrow, is how to do the verb to be. And I've actually posted another video about how to do it and how to conjugate that verb. But the word to be is sum esse. So sum here is going to mean I am. All right. And so that's actually my first verb. But one of the things I want you to do is let's practice 3, right? So if I'm looking for verbs, sum is 1. It's I am. And that am on the end is going to tell me very much, this is an irregular verb, but it's also very much like an O normally would be, would tell me that it's I. But if I look, I have another verb in this sentence. Find it. It's conspicio, right? Like specto, to see, to look, or to watch. And when I look at the end of that, I see the O. That's important because if normally I'd just say, well, that word is sees, and I'd go look for a subject for something that's seeing. But because I have O at the end, I know my subject is I. So this verb means I see. So now I can kind of get an idea of what's going on in my sentence. And I needed this I at the beginning of the sentence. If I don't have that, my sentence won't make sense. So it is really important to locate your verb when you're doing these sentences to figure out who's doing it. So if I take a look for number 3, I'll start with my first verb, which is sum, which we'll learn a little bit more about tomorrow. So that would mean I am. Now I need something to be, and how about errata? I am angry. Quod, because, right? So BC. Now I would need another verb. I need a reason to be angry, and I have conspicio. And instead of looking for a subject, because I have the O at the end, I can just do I, because I see. And now I have servos, which looks to me to be accusative. The servants. Sedentes, sitting. Pretty simple, okay? It's really important when you do all of these, and you can do these all the same way. Find your verb. Figure out when you look at a verb, look at its ending. Don't just look at what the word means. Look at its ending to figure out who is doing it. That's vitally important. So that's what we've done here. So as you go through 8C, really focus on the verb endings when you come across one. And just remember, OST, muss, das, und, right? Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in class tomorrow.